If today I seem a bit sweaty, I'm not even going to apologize. We're here in studio. They've got the AC on. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It sounds like it feels like they've lit a bonfire, or maybe they got a little ice cube up a duck's butt, and every now and then they squeeze it, and some cold breeze that smells comes out. I don't know. So I'm a bit sweaty today. I'm going to tell you that. I'm a bit sweaty today. Now, Chris, I know it looks like we're in studio, but in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. We're going to be transported to a coffee shop, because this is actually a coffee shop trick. This is where it works really well. But let's do this. Chris, I'm going to go through the cards and have you shout the word, since we'll be in a, how about sugar? Sugar, which some people say as opposed to that expletive, instead opposed to saying, they say sugar. Here we go. Chris, I'm going to go through the cards. You say sugar whenever you want. Right there. Okay, look, I'm going to give you a little peek at the card, at the camera, okay? Keep it in mind, okay? Now, I said we're going to be transported to a place. We're going to go to a coffee shop. 3, 2, 1, now. Ta-da! I know it doesn't really look much like a coffee shop, because this is a coffee shop card trick, but bring it down, Chris. I want everyone to see. Look. Look at that. I got the old bowl of sugars, huh? So let's try something. I'm going to do a little bit of magic here. Kind of cool. Watch. You're thinking of a card. You just peeked at in the pack. But look. I'm going to put the cards down right there. Okay? Very, very fairly. I'm going to use a magic wand, because certainly sugar is a kind of magic. So look, I'm going to grab a packet and wave it over and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Watch. Just like that. Look. I want you to see. It looks like there's something inside. People can feel it, the illusion that there's something, and they can see the pattern that it looks like there's actually a playing card inside the sugar packet. Now here's the cool part. Criss called stop at a card. Literally any card he wants. You could even have a spectator deal, oh, there was a sign card, sorry. A spectator can deal through the cards themselves. They can deal through every card in the pack. And they're gonna find, without any palming, without any suspicious moves, that the one card they're thinking of is gone. Which only means, hopefully, that inside the sugar packet. You can even hand them the sugar packet. They can remove the folded card. And they will discover that things in the world are not quite as they thought. This is truly sick. I love this. You know, magic can be broken down, the magic experience can be broken down in certain elements without getting too robotic with you. One of the elements, of course, is the visuals. Because ultimately, magic poses the question every single time, and theater does too, and maybe all art in a sense, but definitely magic does, poses the question, why do people believe what they believe, right? What are the conditions of belief? And it really depends. I'm sure they're different across culture. And not just beliefs, but of course, beliefs are different across culture, but the things that inspire people to decide that that is real or that is false. Why should I invest that? You know, you can show the same thing. You can have the exact same experience or seemingly the exact same experience for 10 people. And you know, some believe, some don't, some kind of are on the fence and this and that. It's fascinating because perception is a choice. I've mentioned this before, but John Berger, B-E-R-G-E-R, has a book called Ways of Seeing. Check it out. It's really fascinating. It really opened my eyes, excuse the pun, regarding the psychology of looking at things. Okay, so having said all that, the first thing, so one piece of information, there are all kinds of information, the way I say them, or sense data, is the visuals. And the visuals on this are so beautiful. The visuals of them seeing a card. The visuals of the card no longer being in that deck as they watch you deal through the cards, no palming, nothing, or they can deal through the cards. The card's gone. So that visual alone, something vanishing under those kinds of test conditions is in and of itself an amazing thing. And it's so important, as I say on this channel, you have to give each moment its due. This has a bunch of magic. The fact that a card, any card in the world, I don't care what card it is, if you have someone select a card, if you reached in and grabbed a sugar packet, opened it up, and there was a Queen of Clubs folded up inside a sugar packet, that would be something people would remember forever. Just that. Let alone that it turns out to be their selected card. Okay, so there's all these levels. Now, for those of you who are too cool for school, For those who are too cool for school, I'm going to show you a couple of versions. First, you think it was set up in the sugar packet beforehand. I'm going to show you how you can do this impromptu, okay? So you can go into a Starbucks, there can be a bunch of sugar packets on the table, or maybe you grab a handful, whatever, someone else can grab them, and the card still appears in one. So I'm going to show you that in a second. And yeah, I'm going to show you this really cool gimmick and a few things. So let's go on down. We'll take a look at this. So we've got a whole bunch of things going on here. There's a little bit of one-time prep, and then you will be good to go. I also wanted to mention, so you've got the visuals. You've got these insane visuals, okay? But then you have audio. Now, in this particular trick, the only audio component, the audio stuff that I'm using to make it deceptive are, of course, my words. So often magicians forget to include their script, the words they say, as part of the secret method, and it is. It's misdirective, it's misleading, it helps frame the trick for people, so your words are key here. There's also, so you've got visuals, you've got audio, and they're all different kinds of information that come together to sort of create this, this impossible feat, this, strictly speaking, a miracle. Now, let's talk about the methodology, about the handling and the gimmicks and all that, okay? So for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 6 of clubs, and I'm going to fold it neatly in half and in quarters, okay? And neatness counts on this one, okay? So for those of you doing your Mercury card fold, I don't know if you want to be using it here. Nice, neat 6 of clubs, okay? Second thing is I'm going to take a sugar packet. And now I have done this with a paper clip on the fly. It works fine with a pair of scissors. I've actually used the cap of a Bic pen, a cap, jab it in. But of course, if you can, it's really nice to have this cutting blade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the sugar down to one end, okay? So I have a puffy end. And I'm sure we've all been accused of that before. Then I'm going to stick the blade in the corner, into the sugar basically, as far as I can near the end of the sugar packet without going into, there we go. I don't actually want to cut past, because what this has, of course, is it's got paper sort of glued together, I guess, and paper glued together on 3 sides and the sugar in the middle. I'm going to cut along the edge, just up in here, okay? Now, you can remove I don't think it matters if there's sugar in here or not. This is big. I've had debates at lectures with this with Magi because we're tragic folk. I don't think it really matters. But what you can do, of course, I'm going to dump over here and remove most of the sugar here. That is sugar, folks. And leave a little bit inside. But you're going to find that this is so tight anyway, you only want to leave a little bit of sugar in there, okay? I'm going to take this card. Let's see if it'll even fit in. I've left a bunch of sugar in there. Will it? That is going to work for me, okay? That's just going to be just enough. You want it really tucked all the way in, but that's going to be good, okay? So that's in there. Now, let me show you the setup version. The setup version is that you are at Starbucks, you're sitting around with friends, you already have this in your pocket, and at some point when people go to the washroom or they're sipping their coffee or talking on the cell phones, all you do is you slip this in here, in with the other sugar, and you are set to go. Okay, so that's really the first half of the trick all set up right like that. Now, for this super sweet gimmick, there's so many applications. Get a 6 of clubs and a queen of spades. With a glue stick, put a little bit of glue just along one end here, okay? Then take a paper clip, clip them together, or you could even do a little bit of tape, masking tape. You're going to take it off later on, and give it a day to harden, okay? And what that's going to leave you with is a very cool gimmick. I've made one right here, okay? I'm going to get rid of this. This gimmick, and I have a little dot on one end, a black dot with a marker to let me know which end is which. This is the end that's glued together. So I have these 2 cards that are now glued together. Loose at one end, glued together. And this is the gimmick I used to force the card on Criss. So what's the performance? Performance is this. I've got my queen of spades and my 6 of clubs on top, and you want to make sure, of course, you shouldn't have any dupes in here. Queen of spades, 6 of clubs. Hopefully there's no dupes already in here. No, we're good. This is on top of the deck, and I make sure you can see my little dot here. No one will ever notice that in performance, but I know it's there. Okay, now notice you could even have this on the bottom of the deck. You can still have cards selected. You can still palm off cards. As long as you're aware, as long as you're not using the bottom, bottom few cards of the pack, you can do everything. You can even shuffle the cards, okay, and all these kinds of things. But of course, when you shuffle, you have to make sure that you kind of like, I could do it here, for example. I got to make sure I either shuffle past the gimmick at the bottom, right? Or if I'm going to shuffle it in, I have to make sure that I want to I want to make sure this end is the end that's going to be going into, say, a riffle shuffle, okay? Because this way, now I know that I'm not going to be splitting the cards, and the gimmick is still in here, okay, waiting for me, all right? But let's say it starts at the top of the deck. When you're ready, you cut it at the top or you get it on top. Or maybe it's the only card trick you do, because this is so strong. Maybe this is the only card trick you do at the coffee shop. So I'm here. I cut the cards. I keep a little pinky break, as we all know. Then I'm either going to riffle through the cards with my thumb or maybe from the back. I riffle covering with my fingers, little break at the back here. And I dribble the cards, and then you say stop. And as soon as I see their lips start to move to say stop, I think, oh my God, I hope they're not a mime, which doesn't even make sense. And I drop all the cards below, okay? And then I cut the pack. Either way, you're going to force essentially the top card. Now, I'm going to hold the back, and I say, I don't even want you to remove the card from the deck. I don't even want to see the card. I come over, and I just make sure I get the top card only, even though they're glued. So I show them, of course, in this case, forcing the duplicate 6 of clubs. Okay? Now, I can cut the pack, and the 6 is already gone. Because when I deal through these cards, or a spectator deals through these cards, which I've done, I mostly deal because I want the focus. But a spectator can deal through these cards, and I've never had a spectator come across the double where they're dealing through the cards and all of a sudden come across the 2 cards. They don't, and feel the 2 while they're dealing through. I've never had a spectator bust me on this once. But this is now all set to go. Okay, forget about the sugar there. We forced the card. It's ready to be vanished. Now, let me ask you, and I ask this question a lot on the channel, is in what order? Because magic and communication in general is about what do you want to communicate and in what order do you want to communicate it. By that I mean you could go through, show it's gone. Just show it's gone. And then go, look, my hands are empty, you can see that. Then reach over, grab the sugar packet from among the others, pull it out, okay? And then show it, put it in your hand, wave, and only now show, look inside, there seems to be something, okay? So you could show it totally gone from here, and then have it only then go to here to get it. Or you can do the reverse, of course. You can grab the sugar packet, use it like the magic wand, wave it, wave it, wave it, tear open, remove the card, and then at the end deal through. Now, the one thing you should keep in mind is it's one thing to go through the cards, show it's not there, and then move their attention along, away from the gimmick, away from the deck, to something that's clean. That would typically be the way you do it. Okay? If you do the reverse, I think it's fine, but realize you might end up putting more onus on the vanish than the appearance, and people might be more tempted to go through the cards more particularly, okay? Though again, I've never been busted with this gimmick. It's such a great and classic gimmick, been around for many years. However, I said I want to do the impromptu version, okay? The impromptu version of the version is you can just have this prepared, and rather than secretly loading this in front of everybody, have this in your pocket. And literally, what I've done is I have this down inside my pocket, okay? I have forced the card, okay? You could go through and show, but you're literally here like this, and then I can say to someone, would you give the cards a couple of cuts? And while they give the cards a couple of cuts, I step back and put both my hands in my pockets, and I wait. I kind of wait there, and sometimes that'll get a laugh, okay? And in that moment, of course, I palm and finger palm, I get this. So now I can literally go over to an unprepared bowl and take it out, okay? All I'm doing, it's in palm, I pick this up, I come over, and I'm just apparently going to remove it, and I just reach in among them and pull this out. Now, got to be careful because people can see a bit of the pattern, which is why when I initially pull it out, I often cover it just like this, all right? But that's a beautiful way to be able to go into it in a more impromptu setting. Of course, too, what you can do, guys, for those who are interested in this, you can have this here. You can start by giving this to somebody to hold on to. Say, give it a wiggle and say something silly. Does it feel like, I don't know, is there maybe a steel ladder in there, or perhaps a battleship from the 1700s before they even invented battleships? And this way you're not saying, is there a folded card in there, but they're examining it. And then, of course, if you want, you can then, after they've done this, you can do a shuttle pass, you can do your switch, you can even say, this is a ditch I used for my airtight routine, is I would take this from somebody, do this switch here, and say, remember, you could have taken any of them from here. And you just leave it in with the others, okay? So there's lots of options here. And of course, there are a lot of different ways you can go through the cards to show the cards gone, and each way has their virtue and their style, right? You can do it very scientifically, one at a time, going through. Tell me when you see your card. And notice that at this point, they don't know the card's vanished, okay? They don't know at all. So what you can do is you can say, rather than saying, look, the card's gone, you can say, well, look, you're thinking of your card. Tell me when, it's okay if I know your card. Tell me, as soon as you see your card, tell me. And this is a great way to build theater because everyone's waiting for the person to say, that's my card. And when you go through the whole deck, let me just save you some time here, guys. When you go through the whole deck and people see their cards gone. It's great theater, great drama, okay? Another way to go through it, and again, we just blew by the Queen of Spades gimmick there. Yeah, there it is, and of course, with the card neatly, if it's the wrong end, with the card glued to it, okay? Another way to go through the cards, rather than one by one, is you could say, look, and I think this has a more dramatic feel, okay? Because what you could do, of course, is let's say we've done this, we've done the wave, and I cover the little tear there, and I show both sides. They can see it looks totally legit. There's something in there. I lay this down right there, okay? And having pulled focus to here and the impossibility of this, I come back to this. And if you want to maintain the momentum of the trick, then you can go, and I want you to see, look, I'm not sure exactly which was your card, but I want you to see none of these, and I'm showing you both sides. None. So this is in groups. This has a nice flow to it, a nice feel, okay? That's another way to do that, okay? Each way has their virtue. Whatever you're doing, the one by one or the groups, whatever, this ending. And of course, this is an old principle, having a tear in something beforehand, loading it in, and then destroying the evidence during the final handling, where you're here, you tear, okay? Nothing to see, nothing to discover. The secret work is done. I love that. A little bit of sugar coming out of here, okay? A little bit of sugar here, like this. Push this out, and take your time. There's no need to rush this. And remember, the moment it is clear of the sugar packet, only the memory is, and this is where when I used to rush things as a younger performer, I'd have people say, oh, it was probably underneath the sugar packet. Or it was in his hand, it didn't really come out of the sugar packet. People love to deny the impossibility of what they love to, you present a mystery to them and people go, no, there's a whole bunch of personality types who don't want to get on board. So this is the moment. Take your time. I've even asked people, is the folded card truly inside the sugar packet? That's not an illusion, right? They go, no. I want you to hold on to the corner. And you act almost as if the moment the two clear, an explosion's going to happen and the world's going to stop. Really play up the drama. And then when people unfold this, it's just one of these card tricks, the visuals, that, I would put this card trick up against a whole bunch of other card tricks that involve flourishes and shuffles and all this stuff. It's so direct, and it's just one of these things that shouts magic. Thanks for watching. See you next time. You didn't actually think that's all that Blabatron was going to say at the end of the video, did you? I'll keep it short. I know in some of these videos I go into great lengths, and I really want to give the value to you guys, so I hope you appreciate the detail. I know there'll be some comments below, you talk too much. I get that, I get it. But for a whole bunch of my fans, I know you really appreciate the details, the options, and all this, so hence why I went into so much detail on that trick. Definitely give this a try really soon. The gimmick, there's so many different things you can do with the gimmick. What a great vanishing gimmick. So many ways you can make cards apparently travel or vanish, or transformations, all these different kinds of things with the gimmick. If you're new to the channel, obviously subscribe. Click that subscribe button. And guys, this is a particularly strong card trick, so I'm counting on everybody who watched this video to really hit that like button really hard, okay? So subscribe to the channel. I've got videos coming up. Most weeks I put up 2 videos, Tuesdays and Thursdays, give away free prizes. This is the Magic Channel, the place to be.